Hello, and welcome to this edition of X-Ray in the River, where we delve deeper into issues concerning Cross River State. We take one sector at a time. Today, it is about education. My name is Jonathan Ubal, and I'll be your host today. And to join us today on the program, we have none other than Comrade Castro Ezama, the Special Advisor Education. Outgoing, I must say, because as at the time we are taking this, it is the last working day in the Governor Ben Ayade's administration before he hands over on Monday, May 29, 2023. Welcome to the program, Comrade.
Thank you. It's a rare privilege, like I said, to be here. And my last official or working day as a special advisor to Governor Ben Ayade, I count it all good to be in your studio today.
Yes, of course. You're actually the first person coming to our studio. But all that aside, we are focusing on the education sector. In the Governor Ben Ayade's administration, how will you, of course, you score yourself high, but what will you say were the perks that you actually enjoyed as special advisor and that Governor Ben Ayade really performed well in the education sector?
Well, thank you. As His Excellency took over the realms of government from Senator Liel Imoke, of course, government is a continuum, and Liel had always prayed that the next governor, the person of Ben Ayade, should, exceed his achievements. And I want to say that in the area of education, by the special grace of God, we've done well. And like I said again, it's a continuum. The next governor that takes over on Monday, Senator Prince Biase too, like Governor Ayade had also said that he expects Prince Obudu to exceed his own achievements too. And so for education, we are good, but not without setbacks.
Yes, here's the thing. Now, when Governor Ben Ayade took over on May 29, 2015, we had the Cross River University of Technology, CRUTEC. We had the Institute of Technology and Management, UGEP, and College of Education. Now, he added the Construction and Fabrication Academy, the Polytechnic Ogoja, which is here to take off, and then the British Canadian College, which has been a subject of controversy of recent. What led to that, especially as we have seen ITM UGEP, COE Akampa, and CRUTEC, now Unicross, which he assented to the bill sometime in February 2022, changing from CRUTEC to Unicross. So funding has been a challenge. Why the increase in educational infrastructure and institutions?
Well, if you look at the statistics, even though I don't have them immediately, of people that sit for JAM and that sit for WAEG and are due tertiary institution. At the end of it, you see that those who are gainfully admitted, so to speak, are far less than those who are not usually admitted. And so you will even see cross-variants jumping to other states to see how they can, fill some admission quota and all of that. And so for CRUTEC, CRUTEC before now used to have challenges with subventions. Go give it to Governor Ben Ayade, he came to increase that to over 200 million.
250 million.
250 million. And so kudos to Governor Ben Ayade. I can tell that, given accent to the bill for Cross River State University, Unicross, University of Cross River State, which of course gives room for the university to expand by way of programs. And so Unicross can run law and other, programs in the university. In CRUTEC, we're limited by the law that established that university. And so with the accent given to this bill is quite timely, and it's expanding the programs that will also bring our brothers and sisters who will be seeking for admission into these new programs here. But like I said, in my interaction with management, it shows that, even with that increase of subvention, they are still looking for more. But I hope that the next administration will look at that and to see how they can help. But give it to Governor Ben Ayade. He has done exceedingly well in taking care of Unicross.
Now, let's move away from CRUTEC, which is multi-campus, to the Polytechnic Ogoja, which bill has been assented to but has not taken off yet, even though we're seeing reports that projects, they have started infrastructure that will set it up. Some have accused the governor of saying he had to sponsor that to kill the Federal University of Technology Ogoja bill, which was sponsored by Senator Jari Biagom, as well as the Federal University of Agriculture bill Ogoja, as it were. What's your thought on that?
Well, we have lots of states where we have federal universities and federal polytechnics. We even have colleges and so on. So, saying that we'll be having a polytechnic that should stop a federal university, that's not true. I doubt if Governor Ben Ayade, being a professor that understands the importance of education, that he will stop what Senator Jaribe, was bringing to bear. As a member of government, I was always telling Senator Jaribe Agom that was a lofty one. I think there were some platforms opened where I was added, and I did not exit because it's something that we, prayed to happen. And I can tell that, luckily again, he's in the Senate, and so he can still push. These things don't come automatic, and so there are hitches here and there, but he still has that opportunity to, reignite that, and I can tell that it will be a plus for Cross-Severance.
How soon should Cross-Severance expect the Polytechnic Ogoja to kick off?
Well, as soon as possible. I had thought that by this time that Polytechnic would have been on. But education and establishing institutions of that magnitude isn't something you just wake up and begin. There has to be processes, programs has to undergo accreditation and all of that. And so we are at that point, and by Monday we'll be handing over. We hope that the next administration will look at that.
Let's look at the controversial British Canadian Institute, which at some point you are smiling at this point in time. I know it's something that you have been reached out to for. What exactly is going on with that infrastructure developed at Kakum in Obudu local government area?
My excitement is one, having such edifice with the attendant infrastructure therein. The other thing that excites me is the fact that it will provide job opportunities for Cross-Severance that are qualified to work there. The other part is that our people will be gainfully admitted. And so the controversies that surrounds who owns it, the good thing is that it's in Cross-River. And history, of course, will be kind to us. When that institution began, we heard clearly and knew that that was a project, a counterpart funding coming from Cross-River State Government and UBEC. And so I think that, this part of the literature of who owns it isn't, to me, that important as, the people that will be benefiting from that university.
But there's questions that this is taxpayers' money anyway. So why should the state build something and then we're now told it's private?
Well, the issue of entitlement on who owns that university, like I said, I will not want to talk so much about it. But I can tell that it's there, and the laws that established that university, are clear. They are in public domain, and I know that you people are foremost when it comes to journalism in Cross-River State. You can always dig these records and have them.
Let's come to TCTI Biase, as it were. The governor commissioned it yesterday, and but then again, no teacher has been trained since it came into existence, and it's only secondary school students that we have there. Why? What is going on?
450 teachers principals have been trained, and that's not just for public, it's for public and private. And so this number, like I said...
But this was not information made it to the public.
Okay, maybe because I was not contacted or those in charge refused to divulge this information. But I can tell you clearly that not less than 450 principals of public and private schools have been trained in that beautiful place that His Excellency has put in place for Cross-Severance.
Still on the educational sector, of course, because that's the focus here. Let's look at the issue of the welfare of the workers, because if we don't have a healthy workforce, we are basically wasting our time. There's the issue of promotions without implementation of these promotions.
That's one thing I met, and I took upon myself that challenge. Let me also say this, maybe you may not ask. We saw situations where I visited a primary school of 112 pupils with just 2 teachers. And I was asking, is this Cross-River State? We cannot, continue. That's why, give it to Governor Ben Ayade, he appointed us, and it's incumbent upon us to go to the field and report back. And I sent those reports to him. I said, Your Excellency, we cannot have 112 pupils with just 2 teachers and somewhere in Yaka local government. And I drew the attention of the speaker, who has been elected to be a senator to represent Central Senatorial District, that there is a school in your constituency that has this number. And that's, there are other few schools with this kind of situation. I have visited a school where there was no maths teacher in a secondary school. And so these are things that my office looked at, and I ensured that, we had to, put teachers there. Like that very school of 112 people. I went to SUPEP. I spoke to the secretary then. The then chairman was elected a senator, so he wasn't there. So I met with the secretary to see how we can fill this lacuna because it was not healthy. And so with that, looking at teachers' welfare, let me use the opportunity to congratulate our teachers because at some point they have been selfless. They had every right to embark on endless strikes. So I give it to our primary and secondary school teachers who sacrificed their all. And so this is something I kept pushing and pushing to the glory of God. Sometime in March, I led teachers to meet with His Excellency. That was the first time His Excellency was going to be interacting with members of his immediate constituents. Luckily, the deputy governor was there. This is the only state in Nigeria where you have the governor as a professor, you have the deputy governor as a professor. And so it was a wonderful interaction. And these things were presented to His Excellency. That teachers' welfare, implementation and promotion. We had teachers who were demoted, especially in primary school. This was, told His Excellency. And the other part of the welfare of teachers. To the glory of God, His Excellency graciously gave those approvals. And after that, of course, there were a few rumors that His Excellency was just saying that maybe because of politics. And of course, I addressed the media to telling them that he meant everything he said. And so that's why you saw the circulars coming from the head of service, given approval by His Excellency. And these circulars have been gazetted. And so as I speak with you, our teachers are enjoying this benefit. Today, these primary school teachers who were demoted have been re-enlisted.
Great. You just mentioned two professors, and people mentioned the state of the libraries across the state, as it were, that look, we almost have no public libraries. Is that something that you don't think has stained the legacy of this administration?
Well, that's the setback, I would say, that as a special advisor to His Excellency, I would take responsibilities for that because I assured the general public that library was going to be fixed. I interacted with the contractor, and that contractor has failed us. And I hope that the contractor, in his true consciences, will wake up to ensure that library is fixed because there's a next government, and government is a continuum. And so that contractor should go and fix that library. To cross variants, with regards to the state library, we feel sorry that has not been fixed, but we can assure you that it will be done. But you can always give kudos that we have scored 70% of 100.
You score yourself 70%. What about the issue of illegal levies?
Yeah, the issue of illegal levies. I want to say clearly that it is true that at the primary school level, they are still collecting these levies, and they are illegal. They're illegal in the sense that this money does not get to government. There's no government-approved accounts where their pupils are asked to pay these monies to.
You have spoken really passionately about all of this issue, but there's that fact that you operated almost from your vehicle.
Well, I think the most exciting thing about this whole thing is that there's the Office of the Special Advisor on Education.
Which is a cabinet level office.
Yeah, I didn't have a physical office, and to me, I didn't want to bother looking for a physical office where there are some head teachers. There are some teachers in our public schools that do not even have offices. So why would I be looking for an office where the people in the field, some of them do not have? There are some of our teachers that will make do, sitting down in a very, I don't know how to describe those buildings. Some will go under the mango trees, but there are very few of these cases. And so I looked at these people. I'll sit down in the office while they don't have. They are the people that are training our future leaders. And so I didn't bother about having an office, an official car, or looking for impress. To the glory of God, I have been receiving 246,000 as salary. And that, of course, has been enough for me to go around making the visitation from Bakassi to Obanliko. And I'll be leaving office with my head high that I have contributed my quota to the government of Cross River State, to the glory of God. Too.
You have said that. Don't you think that would have impacted on your performance if you had a proper office, and especially looking at the fact that the governor promised that he was going to, sew school uniforms for primary school pupils across the state?
Well, there are a lot of things government will always promise. They will do the much they can with the realities that will set in later on. Like we all know, Cross River State received the second lowest allocation after Osun State. I think recently Cross River State got 900 million. because of the deductions of Tinapa and other projects that are in Cross River State. And so, if these things are not met, I'm sure the next administration will, bring out these things. And so, for me, I'm grateful that we've achieved this much with the lean resources available to us.
Thank you very much, Castro Ezama. Castro Ezama is the special advisor, outgoing special advisor on education to Governor Ben Ayade. As a matter of fact, today is his last day in office when we're recording this, of course. Don't forget, I say thank you again for joining us.
Let me also use this time to thank Cross River Watch and by extension, my dear friend Agba Jalingo, for the constructive criticism in making this part of education work. I don't know how to thank you and to appreciate the good jobs. I wonder how we would have fared without the media. I'm sure we wouldn't have scored this 70% without the media. And so I take out time to thank Cross River Watch and other media houses out there that have kept us on our toes till this day.
That's a good one to hear. Of course, don't forget that this is Sharing the River. You can always watch clips of this episode and others on our YouTube channel, Cross River Watch TV. Follow us on our social media handles, Cross River Watch on Facebook, at Cross River Watch on Instagram and Twitter, of course. We have several podcasts that we always publish on our Google Podcast and AudioMark channels, of course. I have been Jonathan Ugbal. Thank you.